The Defense Headquarters has released the names and pictures of the slain military personnel killed by assailants in the Delta community. The Defense Headquarters released the identities of the slain officers and soldiers on its X account on Monday. The military personnel killed included an army commander, 3 officers and 12 soldiers. They are Lieutenant Colonel A.H. Ali, Commanding Officer, 181 Amphibious Battalion, Nigerian Army; Major S.D. Shafa, Major D.E.O.B., Captain U. Zakari. Also released are Staff Sergeant Yahaya Saidu, Corporal Yahaya Dambaba, Colonel Kabiru Bashir, Lieutenant Colonel Bulos Haruna. Others are Lal Sol Okbayemi, Lance Corporal Bello Anans, Lance Corporal Hamam Peter, Lance Corporal Ibrahim Abdullahi. Also on the list are Private Alhaji Isa, Private Clement Francis, Private Abubakar Ali, Private Ibrahim Adamu, and Private Adamu Ibrahim. We're now being joined by President of ljaw National Congress, Professor Benjamin Okaba, for a conversation on the killing of military personnel in Delta State and how to improve military-civilian relationship. Good to have you on Arise News. Thank you so much for joining us, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all,
on Arise News this hour.
Well, Professor, of course, just like everyone else, I'm sure you are appalled, by the killing of military personnel in Delta State. But of course, we're also having reports that the military has been demolishing buildings and razing Okama community, an allegation that they've denied, and they've labeled it propaganda. But we do understand that the fear of reprisals is very real. So what can be done to calm tempers even while investigation into the brutal murder of the military personnel continues?
Yeah, I think the first thing to say is that the incident is very shocking, very sad, quite disheartening. And we join Nigerians all over the world to condemn this bastardly act. In fact, there's no excuse. There's no excuse or no reason at all for the killing of those men, particularly when we all know that they went on a rescue mission. So, as a matter of fact, the INC has totally and comprehensively condemned this act. And we're also calling on the federal government, the Delta State government, and the security agencies to bring to book all the criminal elements involved in this heinous act. Now, going to the next issue of the reprisal attacks. We need peace. Yes, it's very painful that we lost this caliber of police and military officers just in one day. It's very saddening. But is that the reason why innocent people should die? Whether there is a denial of heavy reprisals or not, the facts are there. The images are everywhere. The footages are everywhere. And we have reports that the criminal elements have run out of the communities. So those who are bearing the brunt of this dastardly act are the old ones, the sick, the very vulnerable that cannot escape the attack or the reprisal of the military. So we are appealing as ljaw people that, to be very frank, this battle is not, or the crisis is among communities. Yes, they are land crisis, land disputes, which they have been managing over the years. These people have lived together, they have been married together, they both have ljaw and Urobo stock in them. And so we just felt that it was a failure of management, which can still be addressed. But the extent to which communities are now brought down, both in Delta State, in Bayelsa State, beyond bringing down the people that committed this thing to run is not good enough. So the appeal is that the military should, yes, they are very angry. They have every reason to be angry. But let us be professional in our reaction to these issues. Professionalism is what we need. And we know, yes, they have what it takes to go after this person, go after the perpetrators, wherever they are. In fact, as INC, I've always also discussed with my counterpart, who is the president of Orobo Union, that we have to join hands with the two communities to address the remote and immediate causes of this crisis, and also assist the communities in ensuring that they can also support the military in fetching out the perpetrators of this act. That is what our stake is.
Well, the act was certainly very provocative.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me, Professor Okaba?
Yes.
The act was certainly very provocative.
Yeah, I'm hearing you very well.
And the President and the Senate have both come out quite angrily to demand that these killers are fished out. Just like you mentioned, oftentimes when these things happen, the major culprits leave the scene of the crime, or the village or the community of the crime, leaving
Yes.
The innocents in their wake. How possible do you think it will be to bring these culprits to book? What sort of investigation have you seen, if any, on your end? Or is it just military force that is being implemented in order to seek some kind of justice for the slain soldiers?
Yeah, it's not everything you speak on camera, but I can assure you that the leadership of both the ljaw and the Orobo communities are willing to provide some intelligence report. You know how in Nigeria, how dangerous it could be to begin to mention certain things in the public. But I can assure you, the people are known. They are from communities, they are from families. So already, as we speak, people are cooperating with the military, are providing some information that are very, very useful. And I think that is just what I need to say at this point. They are known, the boys are known in their various communities, right? They have families, like I said earlier, and so on. So with that kind of cooperation, I think wherever they run to, they will be traced.
Now, of course,
and be brought to book. That is
Professor, this very sad occurrence, brings to mind what happened in Odia and, of course, Zaki Biam. So I'm wondering, how do we curb, such sad occurrences and improve civilian-military relations going forward?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that too. The OD issue also had a similar feature where some police officers were ambushed and killed, and the entire community was brought down. At the end of the day, the community took the federal government to court, and so much amount of money were paid. I think we should learn from that. Now, going forward, I think that the governments at the local government level, at the state, need to be proactive. There were signals. There were signals that these issues were going to erupt. From the 5th day of March, where the young man that went to his mother's farm was captured and later his body was found, to when another set of persons were captured. I think the state government and local government areas should have swung into action to addressing those remote and immediate causes. Like I said, it's just about dispute over who owns this portion of land and all that. And you know that everywhere in the world, land is a major factor, the factor for war. So So these issues, if allowed, if both parties had allowed themselves, or maybe government has maybe thrown its weight into bringing these bodies together to say, look, and make sure these things are resolved amicably, we won't get to this point. Crisis, yes, is normal, but management of crisis, particularly when it is proactive measures are taken, it will not take us to this point. That is just what I'm saying. And secondly, I think we also need to improve on our community security relationship. Just like you mentioned earlier, with those warning signals, reports should have been made to the military authorities, like they did in this case, and more proactive actions should have been taken to arrest the situation before allowing it to get to this point.
And what can you describe the situation as in Okama community at the moment, especially between the ljaw speaking side and the Urhobo speaking side? Are things, have level heads become more calm, or is there still tension amongst the two sides?
There's tension. There's serious tension. In fact, as we speak, I don't think there's any human being living in Okama. And the Okoloba community, or all the nearby communities, are also very apprehensive, and because nobody knows whose turn will be, since they are looking for the hoodlums. And the moment there's any report that are found in a particular community, it's like that community will burn down. So there is heavy apprehension not only in these two communities, also in the Bomotor communities where it was reported as soldiers also went there to do some destruction.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you, about the invasion of that community in Bayelsa State. Is this also related to the incident in Delta State? Do you have any more information that you can tell us about that?
Okay. As a matter of fact, we are yet to get any concrete information linking what happened at Delta and the attack on the communities in Bomotori. We are still gathering information. I'm sure in the last 24 hours we should be able to come up with something. But we only learned that some soldiers also bombarded that community. But what is the reason? What is the linkage? What is the relationship between this? The attack in Delta State and that of Bomotor is yet to be ascertained by my office. When we have that, at least we will also make a statement about it.
And as tensions are high and emotions are at peak levels, do you worry that the military might take matters into their own hand and turn this into somewhat of a revenge mission?
It is already taking that shape. It's already taking that shape. That is just it. Just like we said, the killing of those military officers is very provocative. Very, very. If we want to look at the severity of the action done against the military, particularly not in a war situation, they were just performing their civic responsibility, responding to cries that look, somebody has been kidnapped. And I think they did their very best, right? It's very painful, could be very, very painful. But what we are saying that, look, there shouldn't be any retaliation. What kind of retaliation would be enough for this? There's none. So let us just, the appeal is that the military should be human. It has happened. If they even decide to kill all the inhabitants of Okama and other surrounding communities, the lives of these persons will not be resurrected. They are gone and they are gone. And I'm sure Nigerians are united in condemning these acts. That is just the truth. And the fact that Nigerians are sympathizing with the military, the Nigerians are united in the military in condemning this act, I think that alone should just serve as a way of just maybe a circle to say, okay, please, since we are all united in this, they should not take it beyond where they are taking it to now. no more destruction of communities, of villages, of people, but they should go straight and look for these perpetrators. Look for them, and whatever is done to those persons, I think Nigerians will applaud for them, because this is getting too much, right? Because we already have a serious crisis security situation in this country. And for people who are helping out, to deal with these issues that are almost overwhelming us, and that we just wake up to hear that about 18 to 20 of them were just killed in one day is very saddening. But that is not enough justification for them to destroy everybody in that community. We are appealing. We are Ijaw people. We are appealing whether Okama is Orobo speaking or not. We are the same people. We are the same people. There are so many Okama people that are married in Okoloba. The same way, it's just something that was not properly managed. It's not even a war between the two communities, so to speak. Just had some criminal elements from who acted wrongly. Let me say it this way: who acted wrongly, or maybe were misguided, or whatever reasons. Yes.
Well, finally, Professor, before we let you go, you talked about failure of management in handling the communal crisis. And of course, you said that some proactive measures should have been taken. In retrospect, what proactive measures do you think could have been taken to de-escalate this crisis before it degenerated into what happened?
Okay, when I talk about proactive measures, the moment the warning signals are made known or clear or are visible, what you need to do is to talk to both communities and set up a panel that we talk to both parties, interface and all that. We have done that severally. As I speak, in my tenure as president of INC, I've intervened in so many crisis areas. I don't need to mention them. In fact, as I speak to you, we just pulled out about a case that was even sent to court. We pulled it out and had a out-of-court settlement. And today, the people are all happy that it's not just about truth, but it was reconciliation and justice, So I expected that the leadership of the two communities will have come together to say, look, this is what is happening. Or maybe at some kind of local government or the state government will have just set up a panel to look into the land dispute. They are all issues of ownership. And definitely there are histories, there are roots to all of this. And those things, there could be amicable agreement reached before they're allowed to escalate, So when I talk about mismanagement, it is, I think it is because maybe the right thing was not done at the right time. And that is where we have find ourselves where we are today.
This unfortunate situation has been drawing a lot of comparisons to situations around the world, particularly the Israel-Palestine conflict and the way Israel has retaliated or responded to the awful killings of the October 7th massacre in Israel by the part of Hamas. What lessons do you think we should be learning from what is currently transpiring, and how would you explain to individuals who might not understand exactly the history of the back and forth within the community as to why there was an attack in the first place on the part of the military, on the part of the civilians attacking the military? It seems that in the country, more brazen attacks are being taken on our armed personnel, which is a bit of a frightening situation. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, it is very frightening, just like you said. Actually, it's very unfortunate, and two things. One, we must upgrade our belief and trust in the military. Yes, I know the military is facing a lot of challenges, which has made a lot of Nigerians to believe that they have to secure themselves. And that has also led to the avalanche of light and heavy weapons all across. This is not just about the Delta. Everywhere in this country is eastern Nigeria, eastern part of Nigeria, northern part of Nigeria, west. We have similar cases of non-state actors, so to speak, because if those persons were actually carrying arms, who gave them the arms? How did they procure the arms? For what purpose were they using these arms? These are questions that need to be raised and answered by the appropriate authorities. And we think that land being a major, like I said earlier, a major factor in aggravating crisis amongst communities. Maybe we have to now do a review of the Land Use Act to involving communities, local government areas, and the states in the determination of who gets what portion of land and all that. And if there's participation in the appropriation of acts of land by the communities, yes, there might be disagreement, but if at the end of the day the local government areas are given the authority to take certain decisions about it, because they are closer to the people, that will also help. But like I said earlier, it is very important for the governments to begin to think outside the box. There must be proactive measures, there must be high intelligence, there must be collaboration. And most times when the civilians even provide reports to the security, some of these reports are not properly managed. And that is why most people don't want to even talk to the military or to some security agencies. But I think it is time for us to have, if possible, some kind of security emergency where most of these issues will be brought to the table, and a parley between the civilians and the security agencies will hold to address them. And I'm sure when that is done and more confidence is built, I think we'll get the right solutions.
Well, Professor, I know that some groups have actually raised questions, about the peace mission to Okama and Okoloba. I hope I got that correctly. Some people are questioning, the true mission, of the soldiers to these communities. They are asking if the king of Ewu Kingdom and the subjects were informed, of the military's visit, before they visited. Was the governor aware? It seems there were so many questions regarding that peace mission. Are you worried about this as well?
I think, we don't have details about all of that. But I think that there are rules of engagement. If you go into a community, the community is informed. The authorities around the communities are also informed as to whether those processes were adhered to or not. Is not what we have information about at the moment. But I think we all know that if the police, even police authorities are going to effect an arrest in the community, the village heirs are usually notified. I'm sure they must have also complied with that.
And pardon me for this next question, but the gruesome nature in which the soldiers were killed, the beheading, the disemboweling, the throwing of corpses into the river.
Yes.
Is this I don't even want to say, is this a normal occurrence when these situations happen? Or was it more of a provocative stance? Was it like a declaration of war? Was it sending a message? Or is this something that happens on the battlefield that us civilians maybe just aren't aware of because the gruesome details are left out. Can you speak on the nature of the brutal way that their lives were taken?
Yes, from the information we gathered, the soldiers went on to negotiate the rescue of somebody that was alleged to have been kidnapped based on the cry from the Okaba community. So I'm sure they never had any war situation at the back of their minds. If they did, I'm sure they must have also prepared for it. So we're told they went into the town hall, had discussions with the community leadership, where they demanded for the release of the person, and there were no agreements, there were no compromises. So they now said, okay, if that is the situation, let us get back. Now, we're also informed that the information filtered off the town hall to some of the youths that military had come to attack their people. They have come to kill their people. So those aggrieved youths, that is the information we got anyway, now went to the waterside and ambushed them. So the soldiers were just walking back to the speedboats to get back to where they actually they came from, and only to have a rain of bullets from all sides. All sides. In fact, the scenario is not what anybody wants to describe. After killing them, I'm sure those they beheaded, those they dissected, these they dismembered, maybe they wanted to conceal. You know, after taking some part of somebody's body, they believe that the body will not be able to float up. You know, maybe that was the reason. But just like you said, from some of the reports we got, some of them even suspected that they were not even soldiers. Maybe because we also see criminals putting up military uniforms. So we're even told that some of the community youth felt that maybe there were some of these soldiers or maybe criminals putting on military uniform to come and attack them. And they needed to just brush them up. And that is exactly what happened. So I think it was just so sad and happened so fast and in a manner that I, myself, and few others have been asking so many questions that are possible with the civilian, no matter their level of training. We just crush close to 20 military officers in one breath. It's a question we are also asking. It's a misery to a lot of us. And it is so sad that, in fact, some of us are just hoping that maybe we are in a dream, a long dream, that we wake up and say, no, this was not just a fantasy kind of. So that is just there's no other way to describe all of that. We saw when the cops were brought and all that, people saw that, and up to now, we cannot just believe our eyes and just it.
A very sad situation indeed. We do hope that never happens again. Professor Benjamin Okaba, President to ljaw National Congress, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.